Hi, everyone. This is Ashley Shendell, and I'm out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm the owner of Transaction Management Support, which is a virtual real estate transaction management company. But one of my other hobbies is meal planning, and also cooking for my family. I love doing it, and there's a system that I've been using for years, and I kind of wanted to share that with you because I feel like a lot of people could really use that right now. Typically, I use it like I'll shop the sales this way. I'll put in all the sales. That way, it gives us variety. But right now, we have a lot of stuff in our pantry, which we typically do usually anyways, just because I stay stocked. Because I cook so much and I don't really like to go shopping all the time, we kind of do one bulk shopping trip and then kind of get a bunch of stuff that we need. I don't always just shop for recipes. I kind of shop for what we love. And then I create the recipes afterwards. It allows my husband to kind of pick things that he wants, and then I just kind of go from there. But this is a great website that I'm using. And for right now, just for the sake of me knowing what's in my pantry, I'm going to go through and show you how I use that and and I'll do it step by step. That way I can let you know some of my thought process when I'm doing it. I know a lot of us meal plan and we have to sit there and come up with it. This may just be a lot easier, and you may be able to come up with something rather than just butter and chicken or a side of rice. It may be able to spice it up, and you're not really spending that much more time. And you may not know what you can actually create with what you actually have on hand. So let's get started. So there's a few different ways that you can do this. I have my own account, so you can sign up. I think you can sign up through Facebook or just your email address, but I have my own account. That way I can log in and always keep my pantry items saved. So as I said, you could use it for for what you have on hand, or do a mixture of what's on sale and what you have on hand is sometimes what I do. But you can see that you can log out or log in if you're logged out, but it should go right back to what you already have. It doesn't delete it. If you don't log in and you put all the stuff in, it will let you do it, but you have to be careful because it will erase it sometimes, and you don't want to do that if you're trying to save time. So most of the time you only have to do this once. Once you don't have anything on hand again, you just take it out, and if you go shopping, add some more, add them, and then you have more recipes to do. So let's get started on this. So for dairy, I'm going to move my picture up here. So over here, so it's not in the way. We've got butter, eggs, milk. Now I'm just going to go down here and choose what I've got for now. Some of the cheeses I do have I have a kind of a Mexican cheese, which kind of has like cheddar, I think Monterey Jack, and Colby in it. So, I mean, I don't really care if it's Mexican cheese or cheddar cheese. I don't want to, I mean, I'll put any kind of cheese on it. So I'm just going to say I have cheddar, even though I don't exactly have cheddar. We have sour cream. Now, also, this is something that I'd like to point out. Sometimes we have Greek yogurt. I like to eat Greek yogurt and berries. Sometimes we don't have sour cream, but they taste really similar. So if I only have Greek yogurt and I don't have sour cream, I will choose sour cream because I'll just substitute it. You may not know how to do that, but just a lot of cooking and trying to figure out things, how to do things easier and try to find substitutes. I've learned that over the years. We do have mozzarella, yogurt. I'll do the same. Now, they don't actually have, from what I've found, is they don't have Greek yogurt on here specifically. You just have to choose yogurt. So I'm going to choose yogurt here too, since I have sour cream. Just make sure that my recipe, if it has yogurt, is for like a Greek yogurt, or could be have a Greek yogurt in it. Let's see here. I said that I was going to choose Monterey Jack. Don't have all of this stuff, but there's Colby cheese. So those are the only ones I'm going to pick for the cheeses, even though I only have mozzarella and the Mexican cheese. I did choose a few other ones just to, but mozzarella is a little bit different than, say, cheddar, Colby Jack, and Monterey. I can kind of do those three. I can kind of intertwine those. Mozzarella, I can, but it does have a little bit different taste. Just as based on your preference, cheese is cheese to me, kind of. So one thing is, and my husband does not like onion, and either does my daughter. But since most of the stuff that like recipes we get will have an onion in it, I just leave it out. Maybe saute some myself so I can mix mine in. I always choose onion because there's so many good recipes out there with onion in it. Whether I've got an onion or not, or I don't want to use an onion, I'm going to put onion in there just to give me more variety. Because if I don't, it will not show me the ones that do, and which I'm typically going to leave an onion out anyways. We always keep a big bottle of, or like a big can of garlic, just because we use so much. So that's great. Tomato, I have canned tomato, so I'm going to choose that. A lot of the recipes you can intertwine them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't have any fresh, but I am going to choose it. Now, potatoes, I don't actually have any potatoes. But don't judge me. But I have box mashed potatoes because it's something that my husband loved from when he was a kid, and he actually is the one that was responsible for making the mashed potatoes. So I love that he gets to get involved. So we do have those, but with potatoes, you can like a lot of, even if it calls for a baked potato, and I may show you this later once we finish. Um, you know, a lot of times it just says to cook the potato and then make all the toppings. You could always do the mashed potatoes, do the same thing for the other stuff, and then you've just got whatever mashed potatoes rather than a baked potato. So I'm going to choose potatoes rather, even though we just have potato flakes. We have frozen carrots. That's something that we typically keep on hand. So I'm going to go ahead and check that. I keep a lot of herbs and spices on hand. So most of these we're going to go ahead and check, but they're great to add variety. And if you don't include them, you don't get as many recipes. And if you do, you'll be surprised how many types of recipes that you can just tweak a little bit differently. But I always include these, and I think the herbs are great. We have corn on hand, broccoli on hand, spinach on hand. Corn, broccoli, and spinach are like, and potatoes and carrots are like the main things that we keep on hand, just so that I can throw anything together at a time. We have green beans. Now, ginger we don't have, but I do have ground ginger. So I'm going to choose that. And if something pops up and I want to make it, sometimes I'll, even though I rather fresh ginger, ground ginger is just easier to keep, and it lasts for a long time. But I can substitute that if I want to. We do not have rosemary, but I did just plant some rosemary seeds because as soon as we're going to be getting out of our or like the dried spices we have, I'm just going to start replacing them and start doing our fresh herbs right now. So I don't have rosemary. I'm just waiting for that to grow. Let's see here. I have pickle, cilantro, frozen vegetables. I think a lot of times that means like mixed vegetables, but I've got frozen broccoli, frozen spinach, frozen carrots. So that's great. Let's see here. I have dill, mixed vegetable. I'm going to use that because even if it calls for mixed vegetable, I can just put some broccoli in there or something like that. I have mint. And this may be like, it may take a little bit, but I want you to see as I'm adding things, how many things that you can make. So right now we're at 1,274. I just want to show you how many things you can make just with what you have on hand. It doesn't matter what diet you have. If you want to go shopping and you look the sales and you're on a keto diet or you're vegan, just choose those things. You don't have to choose everything. But if you're vegan, you probably only have vegan things on hand. So they're going to give you vegan recipes, which is great. And it's just tailored to everybody. I'm all about making things easier. Why search for a bunch of recipes when they have them here? And what I've found is they have like every single site on here, especially the main ones. I mean, even some of the smaller ones that I love are all on here. So you're really getting everything. I have Brussels sprouts. Canned tomato, we talked about that earlier. And that's it on that. Fruit, we have bananas and lemon. I keep lemon juice. I would usually typically keep fresh lemons because I love them. My daughter drinks lemon water. I drink lemon water, but right now we have a bottle just in case we can't go to the grocery store. At some point, we wanted to make sure that we had something, but we typically like fresh. But we do. I put you can't choose lemon juice, so I just choose lemon and just substitute the juice as normal. All right, we always have rice on hand, pasta on hand. I have flour. We have bread. We don't always have bread, but we do right now. Breadcrumbs, and this is something, we don't have breadcrumbs, but all I have to do is make a piece of toast and kind of crumb it up. So if I really wanted breadcrumbs, that's easy to make. I've got bread, I got breadcrumbs. We have oatmeal, which is rolled oats. We do have flour tortillas. We have corn tortillas as well, ramen. Hot dog buns. All right. All right, for sweeteners. The only one thing we have right now is local Chattanooga honey that I got at St. Albans. So I'm going to click that and maybe we might get some good recipes from that. Cinnamon, garlic powder, paprika, oregano. Just going to click down here. If you're bored by all of this, I just want to give you guys, as I want to see, it's like just see how many more things that you can add on here and just see how the recipes add up just by adding one ingredient and just the variety that you can get as well. So red pepper flake, I don't have red pepper flake, but I just know from cooking that I do have cayenne. And so I can substitute those out, or I do. So even though I don't have red pepper flakes, I am going to choose it because I have cayenne. Thyme is one of the other things that I ran out of because I cook a lot with our steak marinades, rosemary and thyme. I use this a lot. So I planted those as well with the rosemary, but I don't currently have them. As I said, I keep a lot of like pantry staples on hand because I love to cook so much. And it's kind of sad that I have everything memorized that's in my pantry without looking because I had to erase, but I pretty much know where everything is. All right, let's get to the meats. So I don't always have as much meat as I do on hand, but we did buy some just to freeze so that we had it and we didn't have to go making a bunch of trips everywhere. So I'm just going to click what we have. Now we don't have chicken thighs, but what I typically do is if I have something with chicken thighs, as long they're boneless, so as long as it's like a boneless chicken thigh, what I typically do is if it's a chicken thigh, it's going to need less cooking than a chicken breast is. So I'll just look how it's cooked, and then I go and Google how long to cook a chicken breast, however it's saying to cook it. So if it's in the oven at 350 or 450, I go see what time I should cook a chicken breast, and I just change it that way. But I don't want to. There's a lot of good chicken thigh recipes. I don't want to. I don't want to take those out of there. All right, yeah, we're good. Now I know I don't have any seafood whatsoever, so I'm just going to skip that. Now we'll go back to some condiments. I've got ketchup, mustard, vinegar, soy sauce, balsamic vinegar. Thanks for bearing with me. I just want to kind of show you how I do it so that maybe it'll help you. And this is a free website, by the way. You can get an app on your iPhone. I'm not sure if Android has it or not, but iPhone has it, and it works the same way. So I have ranch, so I'm just going to choose salad dressing just in general. Tabasco could be any hot sauce, so I choose that. We have sweet and sour. All right. Seasonings. All right. I keep bouillon on hand. Bouillon is it can be like a veg or like a base that you keep in the refrigerator, where it's more like you scoop it out and put it in. You can make chicken broth with it. You can do vegetable broth. They have different types of bouillon. Beef bouillon. You can buy them in cubes. I have some cubes right now that I can keep in the in my pantry just for any time, and they last forever. So we do have bouillon. I do make my own vegetable stock. Sometimes I freeze my leftovers from when I chop things up. I put them in the freezer so that I can make vegetable stock. So I have a lot of vegetables in there right now to make my next batch. Ground ginger. We chose ginger earlier, but I do have that. Sesame seeds. Poisson sauce. Now I'm going to choose vegetable bouillon because, you know, it's probably going to be used for like a broth type thing for budget reasons for chicken and vegetable broth. Sometimes, like if, say we don't have it on hand and I want to cook something with it, some water and some salt will make you like a little bit of a broth, or it could be similar to it, as long as that you're putting it with some other things to give it some flavor. But, that can kind of work too. So typically I always say I have chicken and vegetable broth because I'll just use water or salt as well. So all right, we're getting down to the bottom here. So tomato sauce, what I found, they used to have a lot of things that are a lot more specific. So you'd have like spaghetti sauce, Alfredo, tomato sauce, tomato puree, tomato this, tomato that. Now it's just all sauce. So if it's spaghetti sauce, you're going to want to choose tomato sauce. That's what that means. It's going to include tomato sauce. It's going to include like our pre-made spaghetti sauces. Just choose. That's what you're going to use for that whole entire category. All right. We picked up some beans, or that we usually have them on hand. You can get canned ones, but we keep a lot of our jars that we, salsa jars or anything that comes in jars. We clean them out and reuse them, and we will we'll buy a big bag of dried black beans, soak them overnight, cook them, put them in the freezer, and then you got a bunch of jars of black beans, and it's way cheaper than buying just canned. It just takes a little bit more work on the front end, and then you got beans. All right. Now, alcohol. We do not have any alcohol at our house right now, but I do want to show you this, and this is why I wanted to walk you through everything so that you could see it. But we have the white wine right here. I use, like, if a lot of time, I might have a bottle of wine. I'll use it for cooking for that recipe. But at the same time, like, I kind of will put out, like, I will substitute that with chicken broth or the salt and water that we spoke about if I really needed to. Mostly just for chicken broth. I try not to do the salt and water thing if I don't have to, but it is an option. So I just wanted to bring that up. But I'm going to choose white wine because I can just use my bouillon that I have, the chicken bouillon, and substitute. But I don't want to keep anything that's not there. Same thing with beer. You can kind of substitute something that needs chicken broth or that needs beer for chicken broth. One of my favorite recipes is a chicken taco soup on all recipes, and it says to put a beer in there, but I just drop a bouillon cube and like 3 cups of water. It's the same equivalent. Tastes delicious. The beer tastes delicious, but so does the easy thing that I have on hand. Now, red wine goes the same way. If we were to have beef broth or beef bouillon, I would choose red wine because it could be a trade off as well, or I use it as a trade off. So that's something that I would choose whether I had red wine or not. But since I don't, I'm not going to click on it. So soup. So I have chicken broth because I've got the bouillon, and vegetable stock because I've got my vegetables that I could make a stock out of, or I could use the vegetable, water and salt. Now I don't have margarine, but I have butter. So if it said margarine, I'm just going to put butter in it instead. Same thing with almond milk. I don't have almond milk, but I have regular milk. A lot of things that I've noticed that were supposed to have almond milk in it, or was supposed to have milk, and I put almond milk in it, it would taste fine. So I just I don't want to disinclude any recipes that I could, just for the sake of this. So that's why I'm choosing almond milk, even though I don't have it. All right, we have applesauce, and I've already gone through this, so I know the only other thing that we have is grape jelly, because my daughter loves toast and grape jelly. All right. And there you have it. So I've gone through everything. That's one way you can do it. You can go through your entire pantry, just like that, if you know what's in it. Another way that you can do it is you can type them. I do that a lot of times, but you see everything that I put in right here. And you can keep that there. If you stay logged in, you can keep that there. Say you run out of potatoes, take out potatoes. And it'll take every recipe that has potatoes out. When you add things, you can add things. It'll just stay there. So you can always look for things. I'm going to add potatoes back in. Now say you have a favorite website that you wanted to look and see what you had on hand, because that'd be exciting to see. One of my favorites is budgetbites.com. And what I've found, when you search, you can't just choose like budget. You can't just spell budget bites. It actually has to say the budgetbites.com to actually list all the ones from the website. So I'm going to click that. And there you go. There's a bunch of different things that I can cook. Garlic bread, that's delicious too. I might make that tonight. Tortilla chips. There's just endless things that you can make with it. Say that you have all of this, your husband or your kids or you. I want tacos. I love tacos. I'm sure you love tacos. The other day, we made tacos, and then the next day we had chicken taco soup. We love tacos in our family. So you want to look for tacos. You just search tacos. And there's any kind of taco recipe. 158 of them. There you go. And it's going to like the way that this goes is like it starts by the most amount of items. So say you wanted a few, you would have to scroll down, load more recipes. You could get closer, if you don't have as much on hand. This really works with few items as well. And I know that there may be a lot here. It's what I've got. But you could put several, if your pantry is not as big, you could put just a few items on here and it'll give you something, or say, hey, we can make recipes like this, but this is what you need to add. I'm going to show you something like that here so that you see what that looks like. It will still show all the recipes, but it's going to show you in red what you're missing. So I have all of this. I need to go to the grocery store. This is just what I need to make this recipe. That's another way you can use this. Let's see here. You can also choose what key ingredient. So say, I I really want to bulk up my recipes with like rice or with potatoes just because we're on a little bit of a budget. So let's go ahead and choose rice. And it's going to show me every single recipe once it pulls up that has rice in it. And then also up here, it'll give you suggestions. So say you're typing them out and you're like, oh, I do have that. Oh, I do have that. What I've found right here is like the first one is what most of those recipes that you've got right now that you've, I've got rice here. So if I took rice off, bell pepper might not be the first thing, but kind of like what's going to add more recipes if you add it on. So a lot of times, like I'll look at this and I'll just kind of, I'll say I want to use a chicken breast. Well, then I just start clicking those things on what I've got, and then it gives me so I don't have 13,000 matches. Does that make sense? So sometimes I make it a little bit easier as well. You can also choose like what kind of diet you have. I have, say you're vegan, you can choose vegan. Not everyone in the house may be vegan. So that way you can put everything you've got, take care of the people that aren't vegan and take care of the people that are. And there you go. And looks like right here, I mean, that's shrimp. I think this is just kind of like some kind of spice, but you kind of got to look at it, make your best judgment. You're going to have some seasonings on there that's going to create, that's going to have, meat in it, but there's going to be a lot of really good stuff on here that you can choose from. And it may add variety. And if anyone has any questions at all about this, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help, and I love systems and I love technology, and I kind of use it in my everyday life. And I thought if this just helped one person, then great. So have an awesome evening.